Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Carshénah with versefilmsproductions and this is Screamtober. We're doing a video a day for 31 days up into Halloween. Let's see if your favorite is on the list. Let's go. Thanks for joining in on our Screamtober all month long. This week is our superhero horror week.
In the absence of light, darkness prevails.
Guillermo del Toro's 2004 film, Hellboy, is really the sort of comic book adaptation that should be commonplace. A film that feels every bit like a comic book in its energy, style, and visual feel, but is entirely worthy on a cinematic level as well. Rated PG-13 for this horror, sci-fi, action fantasy film. Runtime of 2 hours and 2 minutes.
There are things that go bump in the night, and we are the ones who bump back.
For a whopping budget at the time of $66 million. The success of the film led to Hellboy 2, The Golden Army in 2008, and Hellboy in 2019, starring David Harbour.
Didn't I kill you already?
Of current Stranger Things fame. A demon raised from infancy after being conjured by and rescued from the Nazis grows up to become a defender against the forces of darkness. With an all-star cast of Ron Perlman as Hellboy, Selma Blair as Liz, Doug Jones as Abe Sapien,
Second date, no tongue.
John Hurt as Broom, Rupert Evans, John Myers, and Jeffrey Tambor as Tom Manning. Towards the end of World War II, the Nazis engage in efforts to win the war through means of invoking the paranormal, start an experiment to raise the forces of hell through Russian dark mystic Rasputin on a Scottish island. They attempt to open a portal for 7 beings who are meant to invoke the apocalypse on Earth. But a U.S. Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense is on hand to stop them before they get too far. Interrupted by an Allied commando guided by Professor Trevor Broom, they do not stop them as quickly as they'd like. However,
I can promise you 2 things. 1, I'll always look this good. And 2, I'll never give up on you. Ever.
and the U.S. troops soon discover that a bizarre infant, part devil, part man, red with horns and the demonic works with a large right hand made of indestructible stone, has gotten through. He prevents killing the human demonic half-blood, which was accidentally created, and raises this Hellboy. We go forward in time to the late 20th century, and most of the film concerns an adult Hellboy still working in conjunction with the U.S. government to help battle monsters and the paranormal. Even though director Guillermo del Toro is a big fan of the Hellboy comic books, and many comments have been made by him, comic creator Mike Mignola and others that the film is faithful to the books. They've also said they've changed it to suit the context of the film. So you have to not be a purist about sourced material to screen translation. The CGI effects are quite good considering the film's relatively modest budget. The cast are all solid, if not fantastic, although Ron Perlman is probably the best actor I can think of to play Hellboy. Yeah, sorry David Harbour. The final shot is beautiful and perfectly in keeping with the pulp poetry of not only this film, but also the comics it is based on. What worked best for me was the material that showed Hellboy as just a regular guy, sassy detective. Even though he's half demon, a large part of the comics, at least, and this is hinted at in the film, is a continual nature versus nurture debate.
If there's trouble, all us freaks have is each other.
He was raised by humans who were as normal as they could be, being government agents in a bureau dedicated to the paranormal. So he has a large number of human-like quirks, including a love of old music, beer, cats, pancakes, chili, and so on. He's also a cigar-smoking, smart-behind detective. Hellboy is at its best when it focuses on these characteristics. Director Guillermo del Toro, writers Guillermo del Toro, Peter Briggs, of course, in the comic books was created by Mike Mignola. Here's some trivia about Hellboy. Doug Jones's Abe Sapiens voice was dubbed by David Hyde Pierce of Frasier fame, but Pierce refused a credit because he felt that Abe was entirely Doug's creation and did not wish to detract from his performance. Much of the demonology in this movie was inspired by the Cthulhu mythos developed by H.P. Lovecraft, a horror writer in the 1930s. Upon meeting to discuss the movie, Mike Mignola and Guillermo del Toro decided to reveal to each other their choice for the lead role of Hellboy. They both said at the same time, Ron Perlman. To prepare for his role, Ron Perlman read all the Hellboy comics and worked out 3 hours a day, 5 to 7 days a week. He also worked out while shooting. Every day he had off from filming, he worked out. Talk about dedication for your role. Jeffrey Tambor stepped into the production a week before filming kicked off because the actor previously cast in the part of Manning didn't show up. Guillermo del Toro got hooked on the Hellboy comics during the arduous shoot of Mimic in 1997. He's always wanted to cast Ron Perlman in the lead. After the massive success of Blade 2 in 2002, Del Toro was offered Blade Trinity 2004, or this movie, and though he briefly considered trying to schedule both in, he chose Hellboy. In Hellboy's room, there is a poster of Ghost, another Dark Horse Comics character who deals with the supernatural. The creator of Hellboy, Mike Mignola, professed to being very happy with the film. Hellboy is captivating, suspenseful, and humorous. It is well worth watching for anyone with a taste for fantasy. I highly recommend this film. Check your local listings to see where it's playing for your next Halloween big scare.
Are you gonna be okay?
How big can it be?